Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Welcome into PuckTime, guys. Wager Talk TV. Andrew McInnis, Carmine Bianco. Let's talk some hockey. Vegas Golden Knights, they take game 1. And Carm, if you told me the Hurricanes scored that many goals, I would have told you they're looking pretty damn good in game 1. But hey, look, you and I both liked the first period over. And maybe I projected some more goals in game 1 than we would see, in game 5, 6, or 7. But I did not see it being that crazy. But what a start to the Stanley Cup Finals, man. It's going to be one hell of a series. Two great teams. And looking forward to keeping on going here on the show. So how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to go, man. It is. I wish they could play like every single night. 7 straight nights. If it goes 7 games, that game 1. I thought it was a good game. We're going to talk about the analytics of the game, but I expected like that adrenaline to be pumping early on, and 35 seconds into the game, you get a goal. And the funny thing is, Andrew, I think we've seen in the playoffs teams that score in like the first minute of the game don't end up winning. It is they get that momentum, and then it's just they don't keep it. Not in every instance, but they double up 12 minutes in, and you start to think the Canes are on their way. Freddie Anderson hasn't allowed more than 2 goals in 12 of 13 games, but the Vegas Golden Knights said, you know what? That stat means absolutely nothing to us. They just came out. They kept playing. Everyone who said this was going to be a boring series, maybe it's an overreaction to game 1. I don't think so. I think these two teams are going to continue to fire some pucks at the net, get some rubber on, test both Carter Hart, test both Freddie Anderson, and it's going to be a good series. I think the shot quality was a lot better than a lot of people expected. So, with that said, I'm looking forward to game 2 tonight. Vegas can take a stranglehold in this series. But basically what they did to the Colorado Avalanche, went into Colorado, won both games, and effectively ended that series by coming home and winning game 3 at home. So this is game 2, Andrew, and it feels like do or die. It does feel like do or die for Carolina. You know what I mean? It's they can't settle for that. We're just happy to be here. They need to go out and get the job done. And I think books are reacting to that as well too, Andrew. I think they're putting a premium on the on the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, making you pay. The opener game 1 was what, minus 155, and then I saw like minus 161 on this game basically that night, and I'm seeing 170s, 165s, and I don't believe in let the money guide you to where you're going to play, because I think you throw that out the window here. I think people are reacting to the fact that the Canes aren't going to lose 2 in a row at home, but it could happen. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it sounds funny, but it kind of reminds me of the Colorado series. It really does. Like, that game 2 is so important. Let's not forget, of course, Colorado had home ice advantage, just like Carolina does. And we've talked about Carolina as such a home ice juggernaut for so long. I've always talked about them out of a lot of teams in the NHL we speak about. Carm, this is a team that I believe in at home, getting the last change, the way that they play, their defensive structure. So that's why I find it kind of crazy. Like, even Rod Brendamore, he's such a blunt guy when he talks to the media. He just goes, yeah, I don't even know what's happening right now. He goes, I've never seen my team do these defensive mistakes. And it was kind of like game 1 against the Montreal Canadiens. But the funny thing is that both these teams had relatively similar rests, so you can't really use that as an excuse. One thing I'm going to say, though, is if we really think about it, even though Carolina has been in close games, like that Ottawa series had some close games, Philadelphia had sort of some close games, not really any close games against Montreal, but has there been any adversity that Carolina has had to face at all? Because I don't think they were that worried when they lost game 1 against the Habs, but they got to be worried about losing game 1 against this Vegas Golden Knights team. And I think the biggest worry for them, Carm, has to be the fact that they scored 4 goals and that they lost that game. So I mean, look, I've got it to pull up here for you and I here, and it's been a while since we've taken a look at this chart like this. But when you've got a 5-4 score line and 2.43 for Carolina, 1.98 for Vegas, that's about as bad as it gets. And Buster and I were saying when we were at the Habs game together against Carolina, like, look, hats off to the defensive structure for Carolina, but man, oh man, oh man, like I'm telling you, he is not like this Freddie Anderson. He's not the goalie I think everyone thinks he is. He plays behind a really, really good team. Like I think that this guy, if he gets tested, he can kind of get rattled. And I feel like once you get him rattled a little bit early, then it gets a little bit close. So 2.43 to 1.98, Carm, and the game was 5-4. So that's got to be a little bit worrisome. But I think when it comes down to Carolina, and when in doubt, zoom out, right? We always say you don't want to overreact from one game to the next, but you have to take things that you've learned. I could think so many times where I've seen overs in game ones of series, and then all of a sudden game two locks down just a little bit. I'm leaning towards this under, man, but at the same time, it's tough because I don't have a Bobrovsky, a Vasilevsky to work with here. I don't know if Freddie Anderson is the guy that I want to take off a loss like that, but he's going to have to be that guy. And if not, we're going to have to see, Keandre Miller and all of these guys, Chatfield and Gosh Despair and all these guys and Jacob Slavin and all these guys have good performances because they have to be better defensively. And I think I'll tip my cap to Vegas, but I think Carolina has to be better defensively.
Yeah, I think they do, but the score could have been, despite the XG, Andrew, that we're seeing on that screen, the score could have been a much higher scoreline. Both teams had chances. Both teams had breakaways. There were plenty of opportunities. Do they close off those holes in this game? Possibly. So I can understand where you're coming from here. But if you want to look at this series and say maybe it's going to mirror what happened in the previous series for the Canes, where they had that long rest period off, no rest period here, 2 or 3 days between games, but the Canadians were all over them in that game and won that game 6-2, sort of embarrassed them on home ice. This one here, I don't call it embarrassment. I think they blew a 2-goal lead, they blew a 2-0 lead, they blew a 3-2 lead, fell behind, came back, and then it was a late goal that won it, and a good late goal that won it. It wasn't a cheapie. We didn't see bad goals, deflected shots, or what have you. I think it was both teams. I think both teams played extremely well. It could have gone either way this game, but it went in Vegas's favor, which makes the price all that more confusing for me, in the sense of if they sort of replicate that game, and I'm not saying with a bunch of scoring, but they replicate the way that game was played. It was a bit of an up and down game, both teams having their chances and playing well. I'm not saying this game is a coin flip, but like $1.70, I don't get it. I do not get laying $1.70 when the Vegas Golden Knights have proven that they can play hockey. They're playing extremely well. I don't get laying $1.70. I don't think in a series in which, we talked about, and some of you guys, when we did the recap show, talked about this being a longer series, 6 or 7 games. I thought it would be a bit shorter series, and it could turn out to be a shorter series, but with the wrong team, the wrong prediction for me winning. It all depends on what happens tonight. So that is how the series will go. Canes win tonight. This is going to go 6, maybe 7 games. Vegas wins tonight. This one's over in 5. I don't see it going past that. But with that said, Andrew, it's laying $1.70 in this game is absolutely insane. Because my question to you would be, if you're a bettor and you're like, I'm going to play the Canes tonight minus 170. What did you see in game 1 that makes you think that the Canes deserve to be minus 170 tonight. And I'm not disparaging the Canes. I'm just saying, based off of what we saw last night, or on Tuesday night, Vegas could have packed it up down 2-0. I get it. It was only 12 minutes in. They fought back. They took a lead. They gave up that lead. And then
Yeah.
they still found their way to win. So minus 170 is absolutely insane for me. And I wouldn't even say, and I've done this and I've taken this position throughout the year, but this one does not fit the parameters for it, where I say, I think the Canes are going to win tonight. I think they're going to even the series. I'm not going to lay 170. I think they get it done in 60 minutes, because it wouldn't surprise me if this game went to OT.
Well, I think, first of all, I agree with you on that one. I mean, I think a puck line or a 60-minute line is tough in this game. You know, you got to just worry about winning the damn game, not how you're going to win it. That's the problem. But I think it's a really good question by you, and it's a good topic for us to discuss, because I think a lot of people have question marks when it comes to that mindset. And here's the perfect example. After leading in the first half, covering the first half number last night in the NBA, Carm, the Knicks, they end up taking the lead from the Spurs. They win the game outright. So a lot of people are saying in the NBA, you know, whoever has the spread usually wins the game outright. The number was 4.5 yesterday, consensus, right? What does the number open for game 2? 5.5. So the Knicks win, and the number gets bigger for game 2 for the Spurs. And of course, it's, you know, they understand there's going to be money coming in on them. It's going to be such a valuable game for them. And we're seeing the exact same thing. I mean, both home teams lose game 1, NHL, NBA. And the crazy thing is, Yanni the Greek went on Wager Talk today, a couple days ago, and he pretty much laid it out. If these home teams win across both sports, there's like a 70% chance they're winning everything. And then they both lose game 1. So now we're like, okay, what the hell do we do now? But I think that's the reason, Carmen. It's very similar to the basketball, where in game 2, it becomes that much more pressure. But what you said is like so interesting, because you said, you know, what did I see in game 1? And the fact is, I saw a lot of garbage. You know, if I was basing my handicap on game 2 for the Hurricanes on what I saw in game 1, then I'd probably be looking towards towards the Knights again. This is a spot here for me where I'm going to go under 2.5 goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. And the reason being is I think that we just found out that Vegas has no problem, and they're more than happy to play first to 4, first to 5 wins. If you tell Vegas, let's roll the puck out, let's play some pond hockey, our best against your best, maybe they're going to win. And Rod Brendamore did call out his top guys, you know, Seth Jarvis, Andrei Svechnikov, Sebastian Aho. Not much out of those guys. But I do think defense is the name. How special is it for a team to be the number 1 shots on goal team and then also be the number 1 shots against team per game in the playoffs? Number 1 in expected goals against in the playoffs. So I'm going to try and turn the page from one game to the next. This is going to be a good old-fashioned Rod Brendamore, like 2-1, 3-2 type of game. Because if this is 5-4, Carm, I don't even need you to tell me who wins, because I already know who's winning if it's 5-4 again.
Yeah, and you mentioned Svechnikov. So, you know, let's look at let's look at his numbers, because he's been a big part of, at least he's picking up points for this team on the number 1 line with Jarvis and Aho. But you go back to game 3 against Philadelphia, 3 shots on goal. Game 4 against Philadelphia, 3 shots on goal. The opener in a 6-2 loss to Montreal, you get these still registers a couple of shots. 3 in game 2, 5 in game 3, 6 in game 4. And then his last couple of games, he's pretty much almost held off the shot chart. 1 shot on goal in the closeout game against Montreal. And I get that. They were up in that game. There's no need for them to push the guy. But 1 shot on goal, only 3 hits in the game, and a -1. Wasn't his best game, deserves to be called out. I get it on that one. He's got to be better. But maybe, and we talk about it, Is it the player, or is it just the Vegas Golden Knights found a good way of shutting down Aho, Svechnikov, and Seth Jarvis? Because if they did if we chalk that up to that line got shut down, and not that they played bad, but they got shut down, then it's up to Brindamore to now find a way to get that number one line going. And when you have the last change, you have that advantage at home. On the road, you're not going to have that advantage. When they go to Vegas, that last change belongs to Vegas. They can line match perfectly. So, opening point to John Tortorella and the Vegas Golden Knights.
Well, I think you're right. The line matching will have to change. Like, I think whoever Rod Brindamore had those guys up against, he's probably going to change it for game 2 again. But Carm, would you say though, like, do you get what I'm saying with Carol? It's not like I've lost faith in their offense, but if you told me what that game taught me, if there's one thing I learned from that game, is that especially with Carter Hart, look, he gave up 2 goals to Nikolai Ehlers in the first few minutes of the game, and then he settled in and had a pretty good game. Like, I think that low scoring is how Carolina is going to win. They're going to have to win these games in Carolina Hurricane hockey. One thing I wanted to mention, Pierre McGuire mentioned on a podcast. I thought it was quite interesting. Every forward that scored for the Vegas Golden Knights, left wingers, Brett Howden, Tomas Hertl, Ivan Barbashev. It was very, very interesting to me to look at that. So I guess, talk about adjustments made by a certain coach that has to be made. All left wingers, as far as the forwards are concerned, score for Vegas. But I'll tell you, Jack Eichel, if he wasn't already the most, untalked about guy, he's been unbelievable. Great 200-foot player. That line of Barbashev, Eichel, and Dorofeyev has been fantastic. But Carm, again, I'll stick with it. I think my spot play here is under 2.5 goals. I got a CFL best bet up. That's the one I'm selling. For hockey, I'm going to go under 2.5 goals for the Knights. If Carolina is the play today, guys, I don't think they win if they give up more than 2.
Yeah, well, I think they might be drawn into a series where they're going to have to score some goals. They weren't drawn into that against Ottawa. They weren't drawn into that against Philadelphia, and they really weren't drawn into that against Montreal. So they did the I hate to use this word or phrase, but they did the bare minimum to beat those 3 teams. They had to play well, but they didn't need to score 4 goals to win a game. They did not need 5 goals. I think in order to beat the Vegas Golden Knights in this series and the way Vegas has played in the playoffs thus far, because the Knights just seem to be picking up speed or steam, they're going to need to score, Andrew, 3 to 4 goals and be better defensively. Yeah. So I can't jump on board with you on the team total under, unless it's the other way around and you're looking at the Canes are going to bounce back and they need to keep Vegas to 2.5 or lower.
That's what it is.
We see the total. We see the total at 6. Yeah,
that's what my play is. So Vegas under 2.5.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Carolina. Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. Vegas under 2.5.
The ears aren't always there. But with that said, you look at the live lines at Wager Talk, whether it's the free lines or is the odds logic lines, you see some 5.5s on the board. Now, don't equate those 5.5s that you see on the board with the books expecting a lower scoring game, because 6 really is the consensus number here. A lot of books do not like pushes. DK, FanDuel, they deal in halves. So their lines are always like 5.5 or 6.5 shaded greatly to the under. They're not going to put a 6.5 up on this game, because they would, even if you put up a 6.5 at DK or FanDuel, I think they would have to add they'd have to have the VIG on the under at about 125, 130. And I still think people would come in and they just smash on the under, figuring game 2 is going to be a much lower scoring game. So they're going to hang it at 5.5. They're going to make you pay VIG on the over 5.5 and put you in a sticky position to play it. If you like the over, then by all means, go and grab a 5.5, lay the 125, lay the 130, and be done with it. If you like the under, then go to a book that has the 6, because you won't see a 6.5, and just bet the under at that book. So a couple of ways of looking at it. If you look at the first period over, Andrew, and I'll discuss that a little later on. Game 1, minus 113 or minus 112 was the over, 1.5. This game, minus 125, pretty much across the board on over 1.5 in this one. So we'll see how this game goes. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be with a bunch of friends. We're actually going to play some poker at a guy's house, enjoy some Portuguese chicken, and watch the hockey game while I try and tilt them at the poker table. But I'll have the best view in the house while I'm watching it. Andrew, before I get what your final thoughts on this game, I want to mention to you guys a couple things. First of all, 249,935. That is the number of subscribers on Wager Talk TV. We are 65 people away from 250,000 subscribers. If you haven't already done so, please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. If you have an account that you used to troll me or Andrew, log into that one and hit the subscribe button, because we appreciate it so much. You guys are fantastic. You're here, guys. I always say, of all the shows, the Pucksters are the best that we have. You guys come out each and every day. You hold us accountable, and we hold ourselves accountable as well on the show. So we really do appreciate it. And while there's no hockey show tomorrow, there is a show at 11 a.m. I am going to do with none other than Dan Alexander guiding the ship as the captain. I'm going to do a live question and answer for the World Cup, which kicks off next week, guys, with the first game, Mexico and South Africa. And Andrew, you know the worst part of that game that
What's
kicks
that?
off? I'm invited to the game in a suite, and I can't go because that game's on Thursday, and I got to be back in Toronto the very next day because I'm going to the Canada-Bosnia game. And then the very next day, I fly out to Vegas, where I'm going to be doing a bunch of content. And if you're in Vegas and you're at Circa, look for me in the sports book. I will buy you guys drinks and beers, whatever, just not any expensive scotch. I will take care of you guys. Come over and say hi. But I'll be there as well, too, for 5 days, signing up for the Circa Millions and Circa Survivor. But Andrew, 249,935 people on this channel. We absolutely love each and every one of them, even the Montreal fans.
Hey, especially those Montreal fans, especially the PuckTime fans, especially everybody that tunes in every single day. And I know the viewership has kind of bumped a little bit now that the Cup Finals are here. But hey, look, we appreciate all you guys that are sticking with us in the live chat, that watch every day, that like every day, that comment every day. Your opinions are all welcome. And what's great about Wager Talk TV is that we've got live shows that are recorded and you can see afterwards. And then you've got just short form videos, 3, 4, 5, 10-minute videos that are posted. MLB, soccer, basketball, hockey, UFC, darts, whatever it is you want to watch, we've got it. And don't forget, it is CFL opening night tonight. Yes, Canadian Football League. I'm excited about that. And I'll be on Wager Talk today in about an hour's time, an hour from now, breaking down the opening game of the night with Dan Alexander and Andy Lang. So don't miss that, guys, as well.
Andrew, I find this absolutely incredible. Johnny Detroit, our fearless leader, and the man who's made this YouTube channel along with the video team just function so great. Drop this one in our production group. Jaromir Jagr, 46 straight years where, I believe that's 46, is it not? Or is it 26? Where he is, a former teammate of his has been in the Stanley Cup Finals. Absolutely unbelievable statistic for him. Man, it is absolutely crazy. So who is it this year? It's Rasmus Anderson, who played with Jagr back in Calgary in the 17 and 18 season. So he's right there as well too. So kudos to Jaromir Jagr, who still plays professional hockey, but in his home country as well too.
The guy loves the game. The
Well,
guy loves the
yeah,
game. He's played with
well,
a lot
well,
of people.
well, that stat absolutely impresses me. You know what also impresses me? I gotta say it, Andrew. I gotta say it. I'm not gonna get canceled for this. His girlfriend, who is a Pilates instructor, just all you got to do is look her up. Her name
He's impressive.
is Dominika Branislava. Jaromir Jagr. The guy looks ageless. Have you seen pictures of him? He just looks ageless. It's unbelievable.
It's the long hair, man. It's the long hair. You
Yeah.
got to just keep the hair
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, you got to keep the hair. Thanks, Andrew. You got to keep the hair.
You know what?
There
This
is no
is probably
hair.
the longest I've gone without a haircut, which is why I keep wearing a hat. But I got to figure that out. But someone told me if you keep cutting your hair every week and a half, you're gonna have no hair too. So I got to worry about that. But shout out to Stoke saying showing some love. Appreciate that. Alfredo, we appreciate you. This show is nothing without you guys, and I'll say this, like some people, I watch a lot of other podcasts, guys, and especially a lot of other Montreal Canadiens podcasts. As you guys know, I'm crazy about the team. The way some people talk to their live chat, I don't understand it. Like people are like, oh, what kind of question is that? Like you guys are the reason we have this show. Because if it was just me and Carm, we could just call each other on the phone. I have his phone number, So without you guys watching, this show isn't
I'm changing
here.
it.
Yeah, this show isn't here. So Leg Show, Jeremy, all of you guys in here, we do appreciate it. South is in here. Dale is in here. Tone is in here. Tube is in here. So a lot of guys here, Carm. So you have
Titans,
a POD for us.
TT, Nebraska
Titans
knows.
Yeah.
Leg Show's a cool dude.
A lot of them.
UC Panda, when
George.
you make the shows. George, who sent that fantastic email to our customer service. You guys are fantastic, man. I didn't get a chance, Andrew, and I think it was because of everything that was going on before the NHL season started with like suppliers and the supply chain on getting like a bunch of like PuckTime stuff that I could give out on the show. It just couldn't happen. There was one supplier who I put a deposit down with, and I got stiffed. They went out of business, and I lost money. I was getting some really cool PuckTime hats with like the logo on it. The PuckTime. I will have it for next season. I guarantee you, things are getting better out there and stuff. But a lot of businesses have gone under over the last few years, kind of like after the pandemic as well too. But with that said, Andrew, I'm not sure if you have. Do you have a player prop for us?
I do, but since you're on the mic already, let's get your pod.
All right, my pod. There you go. I'm going back to the well again, guys. Let me write down this time, 28-14. I am going down that same thing. First period in that game, they were excited. The adrenaline was pumping. We got 3 goals, one of them very early as well, too. I'm going over 1.5, minus 120 in the first period of this one. We're over the 8K mark again. So let's try and get a winner here and build a little momentum for the last few games that are left. But the Canes are now 6-2 to the first period over at home. The Vegas Golden Knights are now 6-3 to the first period over on the road in the NHL playoffs. Both numbers profitable. I am going to take the over in this game for the first period, over 1.5. Set it and forget it. Let's get a win.
Carm, there's no need to fix something. If it isn't broken, let's keep it going with the first period over here, guys. And again, I'm going to have some plays up in the NHL tonight, but the big point of emphasis for me today is the CFL, Canadian football. Since I've been at Wager Talk, this has been my favorite sport to bet. And look, I can throw out all the cliches you want, but a lot of people love to bet the NFL. They love to bet the primetime games. They love to bet the sport that is the sharpest and most followed and respected by the sports books. I can promise you they are not putting in the same work with the CFL as they are for NFL and college football. CFL is a beatable market, a beatable sport. We can make some money all summer. You do not have to wait until college or NFL football to make money betting on football. The CFL is here. Guys, it's already a great early bird special, and we're making it even lower. I can't get any lower than this. Save 50 is the promo code, $50 off the already early bird special at wagertalk.com. Number one at WagerTalk last year. Let's make some money. I got to play up for tonight. We got to play up for Saturday. We're going to get off to a bang with the CFL 2026 season. Let's make some money. How about this for a graphic? The PuckTime prop of the day for me, Logan Stankoven. Let's go with Stanky to get it done. 1 point, minus 125. He has been the story of the Carolina Hurricanes playoffs. If they're going to bounce back, they're going to need him to get the job done. That line of Jackson Blake, Taylor Hall, and Stankoven has been fantastic. They're going to need him again to be great. So Stankoven, 1 point at least, minus 125. Let's cash this ticket. Let's make some money. Guys, do not miss out on Carmine's Q&A tomorrow. World Cup Q&A. Take your questions. Come ready. Ask him. Get some hot takes out of Carm. He'll work with Dan Alexander. And again, all of our plays at wagertalk.com, wt.buzz/CB for Mr. Bianco and AM for myself. Carm, any last words, man? Close the show out for us.
Yeah. Last words. Andrew, I'm going to quickly put this up there just because I don't think I actually did give. No, that's the wrong one there. I got yours. Let's try this again. I didn't give my opinion. Listen, I think Vegas is. I think Carolina is going to even this series. At least I hope they are going to even this series. I think I'm priced out of the price. I just can't take 170. I'm not certain on sort of the regulation price. You know, I do have a play on this game. You can find it over at Wager Talk. But I do feel that Carolina's the right side in this one. I think I'm just priced out of it, Andrew. For the most part, I just can't take that number at minus 170 because the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm not saying they continue to surprise people. They just continue to win. So, with that said, guys, a few more have joined. Subscribe to the channel. Absolutely love it. Where's OG Hater? That guy's got like 12 accounts. But in a good way, he's got 12 accounts. I love the guy or whatever. But guys, if you're looking for the World Cup guide, it is on my page at wt.buzz/CB. You can download the guide. It's absolutely free. And each group has like a free play on it and stuff like that. I'm going to have an updated version that I'm just finishing off right now. It is just some of the dates of all the data is correct. It's just some of the dates for some of the games imported a little incorrectly. I want to make sure that that's right, but you can get that absolutely free. And then the World Cup package. I've already got some plays loaded, and I have a 5% play going in the World Cup that it will be loaded today. And that kicks off next week on Thursday with the first game. So that's it. I hope to see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the World Cup Q&A. Get your questions ready. Do not ask me who the 5% play is because I'm not going to tell you. But with that said, guys, we love you. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m.